Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is episode 2 of my journey, and this episode is going to talk about some very important things before you want to submit your manuscript. Copyrights. That is a big thing, and it's basically for your protection. There is 2 different types of copyrights for you to get, and actually I just learned that. So there's unpublished and published. Basically mine's unpublished, and basically unpublished works just basically means that my work is protected, and published works requires the publishing company to file your published work in the Library of Congress, and your book gets a Library of Congress control number. And I went ahead and applied for my unpublished copyrights, and I didn't go through copyright.gov, but I went through LegalZoom, and it's been a pretty fast process. I got an email from the Copyright Office saying that they're processing my request, and so, basically, it's not free to get copyrights. It's not like crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. But I just recommend getting your own copyrights, because with the internet nowadays, you just don't know, if people are going to scam you or not and try to steal your idea. And if that idea actually becomes successful, then you just, somebody stole your work. That's not right. And so it's very important to get copyrights. So along with copyrights, I just want to also mention, like I did in my first video about query letters, aka cover letters, and basically for submitting a manuscript, usually the company that you're submitting to has submission guidelines. So everyone, wants a couple different things in the letter you send them, but the generic thing is on starting from the top left corner of your page, and usually it's a Word document, although some companies or PDFs, but usually it is a Word document in my experience. And so the top left corner of your page is going to be your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address. And the reason why you have to put all that contact information is because they need it to get in contact with you. And then you're going to press enter after your phone number, and you're going to put the date. So for example, I'm going to put November 24th, 2020, and then you're going to put enter again, and then this next part is really important. You're going to type the person you're addressing. Sometimes it's either just editorial department, submissions, or John Doe, and then whoever, or Jane Doe, and right under that is going to be their title. So if you have an actual person's name, you just put like editor-in-chief, editorial assistant, and then or you just put, or if you don't, and you're just addressing the editorial department itself, then you don't put the title. You just don't enter that, and below that you put the company. So, for example, if if you're submitting to Scholastic, let's just say, you would put their company name. I didn't submit to Scholastic because they're not accepting any submissions right now. So, and basically, after the company name, it goes their address, and then it's just like the way you would type it. So you do your house number or building number for a company, and then the street name, and then right below that is the city, state, and zip code, and then under that you're going to end with their phone number if it is available to you. And usually you can just Google the company or go on the Better Business Bureau website, which that's another point I'm going to hit on in this video. So basically, after that, you hit enter again, and then you hit dear, and then you type dear, and then if you have a name, you say the name. If it's just submissions, you say submissions, or you put the editorial department or whatever they're saying, the person you need to address your query letter to or your submission to. Every company is different, but this is the way you should format it. And so basically, after the salutations, the greetings, you're going to enter again, and then you're going to have an introductory paragraph. Now, this is you introducing your manuscript to them. It's not a synopsis. There is a difference. You're trying to give them, you're trying to bait the hook. And so you have to have a catchy introduction that's going to want them to keep reading your query letter. And your introduction is usually 3 to 5 sentences. And then after that is a synopsis, or they'll call it a book blurb. And just that, the synopsis is where you want to give most of your information. If you can get 5 to 7 sentences, basically telling them what your book is about. And usually the synopsis is what you find on the back of a book. I don't know about you, but usually when I have a printed book in my hand, not an ebook, and I've never read it before, I'll turn to the back and I'll read the back, and that's called a synopsis. And basically that you really want to tell like a short little story of your entire book, but don't give away all the important details. And so after your synopsis paragraph, and you gotta make sure you have spaces in between these paragraphs. They're not touching either. But they are single space, but the paragraphs aren't. So you're gonna have this paragraph, and then there's gonna be like a 1-inch space, and then the next paragraph, and then 1-inch space. And they usually want an author bio, a little short one, not telling your life story unless that is your book. But that's usually like 3 to 5 sentences there, and how your book relates to your life. So in mine, I put that my two daughters were inspirations for two of my characters in my book. And the character named after Abigail doesn't play a huge role in the first book, but she does play a huge role in the second book. And I haven't decided if she does or not in the third book, because I am not done writing my second book yet, but I have been working on it. We'll get back to that in a different video. So basically, after your author bio, you just press in, you enter again, and then now it's time for you to end it. So I think that's called salutations. I don't know. But you end it with something along the lines of like, thank you for your consideration. I look forward to working with you in the near future. And then you just put your name, exactly how you did it on the top. And that's basically the format of a query letter. You make sure that you don't have any grammatical errors, because if that's what they're going to read first before you before they even consider reading your manuscript, and it's not very good, there's a lot of grammatical errors or mechanical errors, then they're not going to want to see your full manuscript. And there's grammatical, mechanical errors, and spelling. And don't just rely on Word, because sometimes Word document messes up too, in my experience. So always double check and reread your work. And if you have somebody that you trust is able to read your work and help you, have them read it for you. But query letters and copyrights are very important. And so those are your the query letter is what's going to get you in the door. Copyright is going to protect you, is going to protect your work so nobody steals it. And last but not least, when you're thinking about writing your if you want to write a book, or you want to write a short story, or you want to make a graphic novel, or any type of literary work, or anything really that you want to submit to a magazine, newspaper, publication, or periodicals, anything like that, always get copyrights. Always have a good query letter, cover letter, resume, and don't be afraid. The worst they can do is say no. But also, one more tidbit of information about copyrights: you have to have an example, like a Microsoft Word document or PDF of your work. Or for artwork, it's usually like a JPEG photo of it, but they have to, there's certain requirements for them to look at it. So they need to have sample pages. So if you only have like the first 2 chapters done, you can apply for copyrights, because once your work is copyrighted, it's everything that you're intending to create for that book. So just a quick review for this second video. copyrights, important. I highly recommend them. Mine are in the process of getting certified, and hopefully I'll get it within the next couple weeks, but who knows with COVID. And besides that, query letters, very, very important. And if anybody wants to leave a comment asking if I can send them a little template or example of a query letter just to see what I'm talking about, please let me know. Please, please, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Turn your notifications on for more views so that my story can get out there and I can get more support, so that I can get more support for my journey to becoming a published author. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe and share and tell your friends, tell your family.